So you had the plan of buying real estate in high school and you worked multiple jobs so you could afford to buy a house when you were 22. What kind of car do you drive?
Yeah,
What's up, peeps? This is Todd, and welcome back to my show. I have an awesome guest for you today because we got Ram Knutson in the house. Dude, welcome. You are a house hacker here in Seattle, and you are just killing it. So what's up, man?
yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, okay. So we're going to talk to the people about room rentals. So you own a home. How long have you owned it? Has it been 2 years yet, or is that too?
I think it's been 1 year and like 2 months or so.
Okay. 1 year,
Yeah.
2 months, and you live in a house. So tell us, are you living for free or does it cost you money to live?
Currently, I'm living essentially free. I'm breaking even every month, so it's definitely a good setup.
Nice. So basically the money you pay out in like a mortgage is it's all covered
Exactly.
by the rent you collect.
Yeah. This isn't accounting for like capital expenditures, so this is kind of like cash flow after everything every month.
Mhm.
So if like I have to replace the roof, it's a new construction, so I don't see myself having to do that anytime soon, but that would come out of pocket. But also, since I'm in one of the rooms, when I move out, I should get like 800 to 1,000 extra cash flow. So that'll be awesome when I do move out.
For sure. Well, what's amazing about this strategy is you're able to live in basically a brand new house and have it cost you nothing because it could cost you 3 grand a month, right? To live in a brand new house in Seattle. And as you said, when you move out, you can cash flow, let's say between 800 and $1,000 a month. And most real estate investors, when they cash flow, they're only cash flowing at like 150 to $200 a month because they're renting it in the traditional model. And you're not doing that. You're doing it by the bedroom.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I guess what has been some things like if anyone wanted to start like, hey, we got some person who wants to buy a house and rent it out by the bedroom. Do you have any things that you've learned along the way or things to avoid or things they definitely should do when they're going to make that decision?
Yeah, I guess it comes down to like the buying process and then managing it. So in terms of the buying process, you obviously need to have saved up some enough for a 5% down payment, which is what I use. And just one little tidbit, if you're debating between a 3.5% down and a 5% down, if you have like 1.5% more, you should always go for the 5% down because with the FHA, there's some extra requirements if you want to refinance and get the mortgage insurance off of your monthly mortgage. So always go for the 5% down if you can, because it gives you just more freedom later on. But other than that, you should definitely just find an agent and you make sure that the property obviously has enough rooms and run the numbers correctly. And as long as in this market, since we have seen a lot of appreciation, you might be looking at like spending maybe 200 to 500 per month instead of maybe breaking even just because homes have appreciated a lot. But rents will come up and we're already seeing that. So if I were able to get like fully new market rents, I could probably see a lot more cash flow as well. So
Got it.
that's on the so that's on the buying side, and on the managing side, I would say it's for like just make sure to just have people that you enjoy, and when you talk to them, make sure they're enjoyable to live with because they're your roommates, and it's just like anything else. It's not super intense like landlording. It's just you're living with people like if you've ever done it before, so it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I always, when I talk about house hacking, I always tell people if you've lived with roommates in the past, like imagine it's just like that, except you get all of the benefits because they're paying off your mortgage, where before you and the roommates were paying off somebody else's mortgage. But I think what you said in the beginning is really huge. If you are a first-time home buyer and you're buying an owner-occupied property, you can do that with a single-family home or even up to a fourplex. Put 5% down because then when the time comes for you to refinance and get rid of the PMI, it's a lot easier to do that than if you instead put 0 or 3.5% down. So absolutely. And I actually made the mistake. Well, mistake, hindsight. The first house I ever bought, I did put 3.5% down. I should have done 5. And I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. And now I know now. So it's cool that you're sharing this information. Well, that's awesome. And another thing that you said that I thought is like a good just thing to know is if you're in an expensive market like Seattle or Los Angeles or San Francisco or whatever, and you go out and you buy a brand new house that's pretty expensive, what you were saying is that even if you do rent out the rooms, depending on how many rooms there are, it might still cost you $300 to $500 a month to live in that house. But imagine living in a brand new house in Seattle or Los Angeles or San Francisco or Manhattan for only $500 a month. I mean, that's still pretty crazy. So house hacking is the way. It sounds like that's like the moral of the story is house hacking is the way. Would you agree?
No, absolutely. Yeah. To start, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So what's next for you? I know that you bought another property, right? You're going to do Airbnb. Do you have your eyes set on any other houses?
Yeah, so I guess just talking about the second property, I teamed up with two other. I'm a software engineer, so I teamed up with two other software engineers at Microsoft, and we actually purchased a 9-bedroom, 4-bedroom house or 4-bathroom house. And so the one I'm in right now is technically 4 bedrooms, but 6 are rented, and the new one we bought is technically 5 bedrooms, but we're renting 9 bedrooms. And yeah, so this one is, we're managing it in a slightly different way. Instead of this one that I'm in right now, it's unfurnished. So people come in and they supply their own bed or furniture, beds and everything. But this 9-bedroom home, we're listing it on Airbnb as furnished. And so it's kind of targeted towards traveling nurses, traveling professionals, people who might want to be working from home, like this new it's not too new, but digital nomadacy, people who work remotely and try out new cities. So we're seeing a lot of those people. And if they want to just stay for a month or two, it's kind of like midterm rentals instead of short-term rentals or long-term rentals. And we are currently experimenting with some short-term rentals rooms in one of the rooms to see if how the revenue from there compares with the midterm. But so far we've had it for 2 months. This is starting month 3. And yeah, we're surprised with some of the like amount that people would pay for a room that's fully furnished. So yeah, so that's going pretty well, and we're definitely excited to see what happens there. Otherwise, I'm also looking out of state to buy in Kansas City to do out of state BRRRR investing, just so I can get some rehab experience and see where that real estate journey takes me as well.
That's awesome. You're killing it. And just to clarify a few things for anyone who may be confused, when you say like your first house, it's technically 4 bedrooms, but you rent 6, and this new house is technically 5, but you rent 9. Is that like there's 4 traditional bedrooms and then there's like an office and like a playroom or something that you're renting out, or what is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so they're just bonus rooms, and we're able to rent them on Airbnb as well. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Your bonus rooms, offices, thing, and then so this room actually has this house. Actually, the previous owner were doing rent by the room, but they were moving to a different country, so they were selling it, and they actually renovated the garage. So there's the facade of the garage there, but instead of the garage, the garage door doesn't open, but there are actually 4 bedrooms in where the garage was. So that's kind of where the extra 4 came from.
Wow. Okay. So this 9-bedroom property that you bought, it was somebody else owned it and they were renting out all the rooms.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And this is in Seattle too?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Northgate.
Yeah. I bet they were getting like $9,000 a month if they were just doing regular. And then if they're doing Airbnb, I bet it was more. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, last thing I'll just say before we leave the audience is, how old were you when you bought your first house? And I guess, what would you say to anyone who may be older than you who thinks it's impossible?
Oh yeah, so I was 22 when I bought my first house, and so I was saving. I did plan I did plan ahead, saving, like working multiple jobs and saving as much as I could in college, staying in state, and because I had the plan of investing into real estate for a few years beforehand. So it wasn't like I just graduated college and just decided it immediately. I basically planned it in high school that I was going to buy a house. So I would just say plan to save. and yeah, and it's definitely possible. And people are saying that the market's too hot right now and things like that. But there's always deals to be had. You just have to keep looking, and it's not the worst thing if you're a little cash flow negative or paying a little bit to live in the house. And it's not always sunshine and rainbows from people who talk about investing in real estate. So definitely just have a long-term view of things, and yeah, just don't be afraid to pull the trigger when the time comes.
So you had the plan of buying real estate in high school, and you worked multiple jobs so you could afford to buy a house when you were 22. That is very rare. It's unheard of. It's pretty amazing. And I'll ask you one last question before you go. What kind of car do you drive?
Hey, 2005 Toyota Highlander.
Dude, yep. I'm still driving the 2009 Ford Focus. So here we go, folks. We have this young man here. Are you 23 now?
I'm 23, yeah, yes.
23. He owns 2 properties. He worked multiple jobs to be able to get his first one. He's living for free in Seattle. I'm sure the second one is cash flowing like crazy. And he's driving a 2005 car because his goals are to buy more properties. You talked about the one in the Midwest. Dude, that is awesome. Congratulations. I'm very happy for everything you've accomplished. And yeah, man, you're doing awesome. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, guys. See you later. Peace.